Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be doing a playthrough of a game that is currently on Kickstarter called Siberian Manhunt.
Yes, this game is designed by Jesse Eyer and published by Dangerous Games, who are helping sponsor this playthrough. And in this game, we are in Cold War era Soviet Russia, where there's a downed U-2 spy plane pilot who is trying to make their harrowing escape through the Siberian wilderness and ultimately make it to China before they get caught.
Yes, this is a hidden movement, two-player only game where one player plays as the fugitive who must attempt to escape the government by outrunning them or by running to China, and the other player plays as the government who is attempting to capture or kill the fugitive. And so today we are going to start with a quick overview of the game. Now the game is a bit sandboxy and will unfold as we play, so we'll probably explain the specific rules as we play the game. But if you'd like to jump around, we'll include timestamps in the description below.
Now, if you are interested in this game or this campaign, there's a link in the description which you can check out at your leisure. Lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So if you'd please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for our two-player game of Siberian Manhunt. Welcome to Siberia. And so like we're mentioning, in this game, one player plays as the fugitive, whose plane has crashed at the top left-hand corner of the map, which is where they begin the game. And the other player plays as the government, who must control various government agents as well as the Red Army, as they try to pursue the fugitive across the map. And so over the course of the game, the fugitive will be secretly moving from location to location using various modes of transportation, and they'll also have to survive the wilderness in order to reach their goal, which is either reaching any of the locations in China or outrunning the government by moving so many times without getting caught that the government just gives up. Although it won't be easy for the fugitive to do this because at the same time, the government will be doing their best to try to pursue the fugitive and either capture them or kill them. So those are the two goals of the government. And so the way that the game works is each round, the fugitive always takes the first turn, and players will basically be taking turns until either player has won the game by reaching one of their objectives. Now today, I'll be playing as the fugitive, and at the start of each of my turns, I'll always start by gaining energy. This is except for the first turn of the game, in which I'll be jumping straight into actions. Now in this game, energy is the currency that we use in order to take actions, and so each player has their own survival guide based off of the character that you're playing as, which tells you the cost of every type of action that you can take in the game. Now, as a fugitive, one of the main actions that I'll be taking in the game is secretly moving around the board, although there are four main ways that I'll be moving. The first of which is just a regular move action. This action allows a fugitive to move from one location to an adjacent location that is connected via these paths. Now, as you can see, the board has several numbered locations, and if the numbers are tiny, then we will just be reading them as we play the game. But the important thing to keep in mind is that numbered locations are considered to be in the wilderness, whereas any locations that have a building as well as a name are considered to be towns. And this distinction is very important because at the start of the fugitive's turn, I'll start my turn by gaining 1 energy if I'm in the wilderness, or I'll refill all of my energy to maximum if I start my turn in a town. In addition, if I start my turn in the wilderness, after gaining energy, I'll also have to draw an encounter card from this deck, which could be a mix of things. This deck contains sometimes people who want to attack me, or predators in the form of scary animals, or just sometimes random happenings.
And we will see a bunch of that.
Yes. So we'll go through this deck as we play the game. And we mentioned that this is a hidden movement game. So as I move across the map as a fugitive, I'm going to be secretly writing down all of the numbers of the locations that I'm passing through. And this is going to be hidden behind my screen so that the government doesn't know where I'm going, obviously. And this includes any of the towns. So whenever I pass by a town, I'll be writing the 3 letters on my paper as well.
Yes, because the fugitive will not have a pawn or any kind of piece on the board.
Right.
Because again, this is a cat and mouse hidden movement style game.
And so regular movement, which is just to an adjacent location, costs 1 energy in the summer, which we are going to start in summer at the start of the game, and 2 energy during the winter. So we are going to be keeping track of the rounds via this rondel system here. And there are certain requirements that the fugitive will need to fulfill during the winter, because obviously the climate is very different.
Real cold.
Now, other forms of movement that the fugitive will need to take include water crossings. So anytime I need to cross the water, I must say that I'm doing a water crossing. Eventually, I'll be able to hitchhike across this main highway, which is in red, which allows me to move from town to town, but only if I'm up a certain point on the hidden movement track. And while we're on the topic of this track, each time I take a move action, I'm going to basically increase my spaces on this track. And if at any time I get to the 15, then on my next turn, if I'm able to move again without getting caught, then I move to the X. And that is one of the ways in which I can win. However, the government is not going to let that happen because anytime I move into a town, I have to announce that I'm in a town, and I must forfeit the rest of my movement for the rest of my turn.
Now, the fugitive does not have to declare which town they are in, just that they are in a town. But when that happens, we will draw from a bag of different townsfolk.
Yes, the manhunt bag.
The manhunt bag. And so we have a couple of different, let me see.
We have black and red tokens.
There we go.
And red represents loyal citizens, black represents silent citizens. And this is basically going to determine whether or not they give away my location.
Ratted out.
So at the start of the game, there are going to be 6 of these and 4 of the red. So it is a bit easier for the fugitive at the very beginning.
Yep.
But anytime the government draws a red chit, I must reveal exactly which town I'm in. And then this tracker goes back down to 0.
Yeah, anytime we know exactly where the fugitive is, then that will kind of shift this back to 0.
Yes.
Meaning that if they're in this bracket right here, they can no longer hitchhike.
Right. And that's not the only time we draw from the bag. Basically, anytime there's a search or anytime there's a risk of me needing to reveal where I am, we're going to draw a token from that bag. And so again, the fugitive can only hitchhike across the highway if the tracker is at least at the 5. And it says it here on the board. Yep. Now, the last type of movement action that I can take is called bushwhack. And that allows me to move from one location to any other location that is around the same circular perimeter.
Yeah, so you can move somewhere from like 171 all the way to 226 because it follows that same ring.
Right.
Now, this does cost a lot of energy, but it can be very useful.
Yes. And going back to entering towns, I can always spend 1 additional energy when taking any of the types of movement actions in order to sneak into the town, which basically requires the government to draw 2 tokens from the bag. And if either token is a silent citizen, then they do not give away my location.
Right.
And that is basically it for movement. I'll talk about all of the different costs as we play the game. Now, the other part of the game for the fugitive is, in addition to moving around the board, I'm going to want to try to find items and use them to craft things that will be very helpful for me. Now, my fugitive board here is actually my inventory. At the start of the game, I can hold 4 items, but my character specifically starts already with a pistol. So I do start armed.
And you have 6 rounds of ammunition.
Yes. And so on my turn, when I'm in the wilderness, I can perform what's called a wilderness search for 1 energy. And I can only do this once per turn.
Yep.
And that allows me to draw 3 cards from the wilderness deck. Now, anytime I take a search action, I'm going to be drawing cards onto my campsite, because these cards will stay here until I need to move again, which is important because if I can't actually hold some of these items in my inventory, then this is a good way to still kind of hold on to them until I need to move again.
Yes, and this campsite basically represents where the fugitive currently is.
Right, and the stuff that I'm going to find in the wilderness are going to be stuff like material for crafting or food, which is really important. So as an example, I have honey berries here, which I actually only find if it's the summertime. If it's the winter, I find nothing.
Yeah, it's in season.
In this game, whenever I find food, I'm going to gain the food tokens from the supply. And if I don't eat it right away, then I have to carry it in my inventory. And each token fills up a slot. Now, I do have the ability to increase the size of my inventory by either finding or crafting a satchel or a bag, as an example. This satchel will go into my gear slot, and this actually increases my inventory by 3. So I would be able to remove these tokens, and now I have more slots.
Right.
And that's important because some items that I'm going to be carrying actually require me to take up 2 slots. There's a size at the top of the card here that tells you how many slots it takes.
Sure.
And anytime you have a reusable item, it tells you how many times you can use it. So like that is
3 berries.
3. This is 3 berries.
So you
wow.
can eat 3 times from that.
That is really, really nice. Or like the large stick. This actually takes up 2 spaces in my inventory, but if I don't want to hold it, as long as I'm in my campsite, I can leave it here, and on my turn, I can spend 1 energy to craft. And so on the opposite side of my player aid here, it tells me all of the different types of items that I can craft and what components I need in order to craft them. So crafting always takes 1 energy, And this is sort of the crafting deck. There's a wide variety of things that I'm going to probably want to make that'll help me, such as a fire or a tent. There's winter clothes, because during the winter time, if I'm not wearing winter clothes or I don't have a fire, then I will actually lose an HP. So there is a penalty for that.
Yeah, you're going to get sick and die.
Right. So I'm going to want to make things over the course of the game. In addition, I can hunt prey. So as an example, this is a flying squirrel, and we'll go through combat as we play the game because that's going to happen quite a bit.
Sure.
But just as an example, if defeated, I gain 1 raw meat. And raw meat is sort of the special type of food in this game because they only give you 1 energy each if you eat them, but unfortunately they also carry a parasite risk. So anytime I eat raw meat, I'm going to shuffle a parasite card into the encounters deck.
Right.
And at the start of my turn, if I start in the wilderness, I'll always have a risk of gaining parasites from eating that meat.
Yeah, there's nothing good that comes from parasites.
Right. But fortunately, if I build a fire and I have any amount of uncooked meat, then they all get converted to cooked meat, which now no longer carries that risk, and it actually gives me 2 energy per unit. So that is just an example of the power of crafting, and that is definitely a large part of the game. Now, speaking of food, as a fugitive, I can eat any amount of food to gain energy, up to my maximum of 5, of course, and this can be done at any time on my turn. However, I can only eat up to 2 meals per turn. So a meal is defined as any number of food items that I eat at one time. And again, this can be a combination of food from my inventory or those that are still in my campsite. Now, there is a requirement that I must eat at least once per quarter, which consists of 2 turns. So basically every other turn as a fugitive, I must have at least 1 meal.
Yep.
And if I don't, then once it gets to the next quarter, I'm going to lose an HP.
Yeah, you start to starve.
Yes, exactly. I start to starve. And as Jack McKenzie over here, I start the game with 6 HP. Now, if I ever go down to 0 HP and it's not caused by the government, then I don't actually lose the game. I get brought to the nearest town and all that stuff, but I definitely want to maintain my HP. And the last thing is when I'm spending energy to take actions on my turn, I can choose to exhaust myself by going to -1 energy. But anytime I do that, I lose an HP. So, while we're on the topic of losing HP, but again, I cannot die, I cannot lose the game from losing all my HP unless it's caused by the government.
Specifically the government. So if you
Right.
go into a combat with a wild animal, you can still go to 0, but you won't lose the game.
Right.
But there's a lot of penalties for that.
But that is the majority of what the fugitive is going to be doing. I can also attack on my turn, and as an action, I can also choose to perform a good deed, which basically allows me to add Silent Citizen to the bag.
Right.
But that is basically what I'm going to be doing on my turn.
Now, as for the government, we start off kind of weak at the very beginning of the game. You are only going to get 1 energy point for every single agent or pawn piece that you actually have on the board, up to a maximum of 5. So we also have kind of a list of various different types of actions that we can take. We are going to be trying to move around the board and search to find evidence of our fugitive. We're going to try to attack them if we think we know where they are, try to capture them, and also a big part of the game is government assistance. Government assistance basically focuses on this board over here, where we can take a certain amount of cards and spend a certain amount of action points in order to take the various different actions that you see depicted on these cards. So for instance, we have this one right here. This is the helicopter transport. So if I spent 1 energy, because it happens to be in this row, I can move a KGB officer, which are my red pawns, to any location on the map that does not, and that also does not count as a move. So typically, whenever you move with the KGB, the red pawns, you can only move them once per turn. So I can't just continue to move with the same person over and over in the exact same turn.
And the way that movement works is the government can spend 1 energy to move a KGB pawn, which are the red pawns, up to 2 spaces.
Yep.
You don't have to move, so it's 0 to 2 spaces. And wherever you end up, you can perform a search.
Right.
And whenever the government performs a search, I, as a fugitive, must tell them if the location where they ended up in is either my current location or a location that was along the trail, meaning the last 4 locations that I visited is that location.
Yeah, so if Monique or the fugitive has been in that location within their past 4 moves, then they must tell me, and then
Yeah.
I can basically deduce or kind of get an idea as to where they could be.
Now, over the course of the game, the government player will also have the ability to upgrade their KGB officers to Yakut trackers, who can move multiple times in a turn instead of just once per turn.
Correct.
And they can also track up to 6 spaces instead of 4.
Yeah, exactly.
They're also stronger in combat. They're basically a stronger version of the KGB officers.
The primary and pretty much the only way that we spawn new KGB agents out onto the board is going to be with these cards, these recruit cards. And I will definitely be doing this probably on my first turn. And so I will explain it at that time.
Yes, because again, unlike the fugitive, the government player does not gain energy at the start of their turn. They will always just start their turn with an amount of energy equal to how many pawns they have on the board.
Correct. So I'm going to start this game with just one KGB agent in hot pursuit. So I will only have one action point to spend.
Right, which also means that whenever they put out a Yakut tracker, they'll always be replacing a KGB officer because the maximum number of pawns they'll ever have is 5.
Correct.
Now, in order to win, the government player will not only have to find the fugitive's location, but they'll also have to either capture or kill the fugitive in combat.
So we are going to go over combat over the course of the game. So in order to capture, you need to have any combination of agents, whether it's 2 KGB or a KGB and Yakut, any combination, and be in the exact same location as the fugitive, and then take a capture action, which is going to cost 1 energy.
And lastly, the government actually has a third way of winning, and that is by deploying the Red Army. So the government player has 5 maximum of these Red Army tokens, and they can deploy 1 of them per turn.
Correct.
Whenever they deploy these, they can be deployed in any location on the map. And that location is basically a zone that I, as a fugitive, cannot enter. And by the way, as I move around the board, I cannot enter any locations that have pawns on them.
Correct. So if Monique really needs to get to a town, and let's say I have a KGB agent there, and she really wants to go to that town, she legally cannot do that.
Right. But the KGB officer can enter a location with the fugitive.
Correct.
And unless they're searching for me there, I'm not required to give away where I am. So back to the Red Army. The Red Army cannot be deployed onto the location where the fugitive currently is. And if ever that were to happen, so as an example, if the fugitive is in 131 and Naveen deploys a Red Army there, I, as a fugitive, have to say, you can't place that there. Because I'm there.
So that would indicate to me that I know a little bit more information.
Yes.
I got a freebie kind of search by kind of lucking into that.
And because I revealed my location, the tracker would go back down to 0 again, and Naveen would have to move the Red Army token to an adjacent location. Now, the thing is, if on a future turn, Naveen takes the split action, which allows him to send out a Red Army token to a space that's adjacent to one that's already there, and it happens to be the location where the fugitive is, then that is legal. And unfortunately, they automatically kill the fugitive and the government wins.
Right. And one big important thing about the Red Army as the government, you can never put out more than 1 token in a given turn.
Right. And that includes when resolving cards that are on your board versus taking the specific government action, which will all make sense as we play. But as you can see, there is quite a bit going on, so we will explain all of the specifics of our actions as we play the game. And for now, we'll go ahead and get cleaned up and we'll get started with our playthrough.
Okay, we are all set up. All the decks have been shuffled. We are ready to go. Now, Monique is going to be playing as the fugitive. I will be the government. The fugitive will always go first, starting with Summer.
Yes, and I'm going to be writing all of my movement secretly behind my screen, and this is not going to be information readily available to you as well. So it's almost as if you'll be playing from the government's perspective.
My perspective, yeah.
So try to follow along and try to guess where I am. In addition, we're also going to be implementing an optional rule that caps the game at maximum 3 years.
Right.
And a year is an entire cycle of summer and winter. If the game does not end within that 3-year period, then the government wins.
Correct. That would be a total of 24 turns, 8 per year. So there's quite a bit of time to get this done.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to be taking the first turn as a fugitive. And again, at the start of the game, we both start at that crash site. So adjacent to the crash site are 3 locations numbered 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. 1, 2,
and
3.
In order for me to secretly go to those, I do have to take a move action. And so at the start of the game, the fugitive starts with 3 energy. And typically, I'll start my turn by gaining energy and drawing an encounter card if I'm in the wilderness, both of which I skip on my first turn and go directly to actions. So I'm going to go ahead and move. I want to try to get away as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And so the move action, because it is summertime, it only costs 1 energy per space. And I'm going to move to 3 spaces.
Okay.
So that is going to cost me all 3 of my energy.
Okay.
And I'm going to move up 1, 2, 3
Okay.
hidden movement spaces on the track. And so, Naveen,
Yes.
I am now in a town.
Okay,
So,
so that-
again, when you enter a town,
Yep.
you must announce it to the government player. And I can no longer move. If I had additional energy, I could no longer move for the rest of my turn.
So you technically, if you wanted to sneak, you could exhaust yourself.
I could. I could lose an HP
You could,
now.
yep.
But I know that the manhunt bag is stacked in my favor.
Correct, yeah.
So, speaking of, you now must draw.
Yeah,
the manhunt
so
bag.
she is in basically one of these 2 towns, right? So she moved 3 times from here. So she either went 1, 4 to this town or 2, 5 to this town. She clearly did not go 3, 6, 10 because 10 does not end in a town. So
That's an expert level
that's-
opener.
There you go. Yeah. So she's in one of these 2 towns. Because of that, this bag has been seeded with 6 silent citizens
Yes.
and 4 loyal citizens. So I'm hoping to draw a red because it'll tell me exactly where she is.
You'll have so much less
Let's
of
find out.
loyalty in there.
Okay.
Aha!
So we have a silent citizen. Now this goes out.
Yes, this goes into the supply.
Yeah.
And this basically means that the people were in my favor. They did not give away my location.
They didn't
They're not
care to tell
suspecting
me.
yet.
Okay. So you're in one of these 2 locations.
Right. And that is basically it for my turn. Now, technically, I could spend 1 energy to go minus an HP and take like an urban search action there or something, but it is early. I don't want to do that. And plus, I'm ending my turn in a town, which means at the start of my next turn, I'm going to refill my energy back up to maximum.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's it for me. It is now your turn as the government.
Okay, so we have a KGB agent that starts investigating the crash site. That's where they
Yes.
start. So we start with 1 energy point.
Right.
So basically, I could move and search, but why would I do that? So I am going to. I need more action points. I need
Right.
more energy. And the best way to do that is by recruiting. And in order to recruit, you have to take a government assistance card that's in play. And it happens to be here. So I am going to be taking the government assistance action. And in order to recruit another KGB agent, I'm going to use this recruit card that happens to be here. So this
Okay.
one says, place a KGB officer pawn from your reserve on any town. But you may not use that pawn until my next turn.
Okay.
So even if I had leftover energy, I
Right.
cannot actually manipulate that particular pawn.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that's going to now increase my next turn to have 2 energy.
Right.
So I'm spending 1 energy
Uh-huh.
to take this government assistance, which costs 1 energy.
Uh-huh.
Had this recruit been in slot 2 or 3, I wouldn't be able to take this turn
Right.
until it slid down, which we'll show in a second. So I'm taking that. It's going to go into my discard pile. I'm going to take a KGB agent.
Where are you sending them?
Well, I can go to any town. I could technically try to go ahead of you.
You could to block
to,
whatever
to,
path. If
to
you...
block whatever path. And I think I will do that. I think I'm going to
Okay.
put them right in this town over here.
Okay.
I want to get in and I want to kind of triangulate on you as best
Okay.
as possible.
So he's basically making it difficult to hitchhike because hitchhiking again is only along the red highway.
Yeah, so this red highway along this way, you can hitchhike. By the way, this is probably a good time to talk about this. I didn't mention it earlier, but KGB agents specifically can travel from town to town along these different routes, and that is kind of something special to the KGB agents. It's called a special driving action, and only KGB agents can go from town to town as part of their move. So I am going to keep myself here.
Okay? And that's essentially it for your turn, right? Because you don't have any more energy.
I don't, yeah.
Okay, now as a government player, at the end of the government player's turn, you always slide down the cards to refill empty spaces.
Correct.
However, their deck also contains a few of these red cards, and red cards are bad for them.
They're never good for
They're
us.
never
yeah.
good. You cannot purchase them
Nope.
using energy. You basically have to wait until they slide off of the board, in which they'll activate, and it's always something bad.
Yeah, so this one over here, this is called Agent Recalled. So this will not activate until my next turn because it's in this final slot. At
Mm-hmm. Yes.
the end of my turn, it'll slide off, and then you activate it. This one says, send the government agent closest to the fugitive's last known location back to Kansk. If they're a KGB agent, Kansk is this city over here.
Yeah.
So if this shows up somewhere later in the game, because
Yeah.
there's multiples of these, and we have you kind of over here,
Yeah.
that KGB agent is going to have to start all the way back here,
Rough.
which is going to be very difficult because now it's going to take a very slow
Yeah.
kind of burn to get them back.
Yeah.
So If it's a Yakut tracker, then they would go back to one of the locations where they spawned from.
Right.
Speaking of Yakuts, they are going to either spawn in any one of these towns that have this black kind of border. So we have here, here, and here. So they're kind of on the outskirts, and we want to work them in.
And the other thing that is unique to the red cards is that they will slide down each turn no matter what. So unlike these cards, which only slide down to fill in empty spaces, had Naveen not purchased this card that was in this space here, it would have gotten kicked off the board because there was a red card above it.
Yep. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fill in this card. I do have a deck off the side here, and let's see what we get. Okay, another recruit.
Another recruit.
Very good.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to cost 3, though, so there's no way I can actually do this on my next turn
later.
because I'm only going to start with 2.
All right, and the last thing is the government player must also move the tracker.
That signifies the end of it.
Yes, and this is my last opportunity this turn to eat food before I take that HP damage.
You're going to rummage,
I need to find some food.
Yep.
Okay, so now it is back to my turn as a fugitive. Because I'm starting my turn in a town, I go up to 5 energy. And I do not draw an encounter from the deck because that is only when I'm in the wilderness.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen in the wilderness.
Right. Now, since I'm in a town, one action that I can take is called Urban Search, which is very similar to the Wilderness Search action, except I can do this several times on my turn if I'd like to, but again, only when you're in a town. And this lets me draw 1 card from the Urban deck, which again goes into the campsite.
What do you got here? Vodka.
Vodka. So this is a size 1, which means if I were to choose to carry it, it would just occupy 1 space. And this basically says no winter HP penalty this quarter. If consumed with raw meat, ignore parasites, but this is not a meal.
All right.
However, you must roll a detection check on your next search. So one thing that we didn't mention is when I use any items that are considered to be noisy. So as an example, if I were to ever shoot my pistol, at the very bottom here, it shows a detection check that I must perform by rolling a die. And if I roll less than or equal to that value, then the government will draw a token from the Manhunt bag because there is a chance that I'll be revealed. And that cost me 1 energy.
Yes. Yep.
I need to make sure to
Important.
spend.
Yes.
That's very important. All right, I think it's time to move. So I'm going to go ahead and put the vodka in my inventory.
So no more urban search. You're leaving.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
I am leaving. I'm going to take 1 movement action. So I have to spend 1 energy.
Okay.
I'm going to increase this, and that just means I'm moving to 1 adjacent space.
Okay.
And since I am now in the wilderness, technically, I am going to perform a wilderness search, which also costs 1 energy.
Okay.
Similar to urban search, but instead I get to draw 3 cards.
Okay.
So these are going to go into my campsite.
2 and 3.
3.
Okay.
All right. So I have a roe deer. So this is considered prey. I have honeyberries.
There you go. We talked
as
about
well
that in the
as
teach.
empty wilderness.
Nothing.
So I find nothing useful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and discard this now. Now honeyberries. This is great because I can have a meal.
It's in the summer
so
too. Yeah.
It's a summertime, which means I find a bush with 3 portions of honeyberries, and each of them restores 1 energy per use. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of these tokens. They each occupy a space in my inventory. So let me just eat 1 now. Oh my gosh, hold on. I have to figure out how much I want to eat because I can only have 2 meals per turn. And you know what? I'm going to make a decision about the berries after I deal with the deer.
Okay.
So whenever you draw animal cards from the wilderness deck, they're considered prey. If you draw more than 1 of these, by the way, you have to choose only 1 of them to face.
Right.
And I basically have an opportunity to try to hunt them. And if I defeat them, then I gain some valuable crafting items and food. But before I actually can do that, I have to roll a die to see how the animal behaves. And that's going to be according to the chart at the top here. So, hold on. Can I roll that again?
Sure. Just dropped it.
There we go.
2.
2. Okay. If I rolled a value of 1, then they actually flee, and I don't
run
get
away.
to go.
Yeah. The
up.
deer would run away,
Yes.
and they flee.
Now, a 2 basically means that I can attack them from a distance, so I must use a ranged weapon, which I do have.
Yep.
And so it's actually my option if I'd like to attack them or not. I can choose to just discard the cards since they are from the wilderness deck. They're considered prey. If they were a predator from the encounter deck, then I would have no choice but be attacked by them.
So if you are successful, you'll get 3 raw meat, 2 sinew, and 1 animal hide, which you can use to craft different things.
I can craft winter clothes. I can make a satchel and increase my inventory slots.
For 3
oh my
slots,
gosh,
yeah.
that's so good. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I am going to attack this poor deer
With your gun.
with my gun. So the way that attack works is, as a fugitive, I am required to attack using a weapon. So over the course of the game, I may find knives, which is considered melee weapons, or other guns.
You can also craft a bow and arrow.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right now, I only have this one pistol, so I'm going to be attacking the deer with my pistol. And I always get to attack first, unless it states otherwise. So on my turn, I can attack once, and for each use of the pistol, I have to decrease the die.
So that's how bullets work?
Yes, and if this runs out, then I have to refill it using ammo that I find somewhere. Now, when attacking, I'm going to roll my die, and I add the attack value of my weapon to it, which in the case of my pistol is
3.
+3.
Okay.
So, please.
3 plus 1, so it's a 4.
4. Okay. Then I subtract their defense value, which is 4.
Uh-oh.
And if I have any left over, then I deal that much damage, which is really unfortunate because I used my gun and I didn't actually wound it. And it says here, the deer will flee the moment it is attacked. If you wound it, you may spend 1 energy to track it and attack it again. Unfortunately, I did not wound it, which means my first battle is unsuccessful.
You scared him off.
What more is there's actually a penalty here that I must face, and that is the sound of this gun when firing it. It's loud.
Yeah.
So I have to roll a detection check.
So you want to roll a 4, 5, or 6 right now?
Please, please, please.
6.
6. So my
Okay.
star is a 6.
Yep.
So Naveen does not draw from the manhunt bag.
Right.
I was not given away.
Yeah. So right now, if you're looking at it from the government's perspective, we
Yes.
know she was in one of these 2 towns. She moved somewhere, so she could have maybe moved to 7, or if she was here, she could have went backtrack to 9 to 12, up the road or the highway to 11. So we don't know exactly where this encounter happened with the deer. But had she
Yes.
rolled a 1, 2, or 3, and we drew a red,
Yeah,
we
then
would
I
know
would-
exactly her
I
precise
would have had to
location.
reveal myself.
In
at
addition to
point.
that, this would send this back to 0, which makes hitchhiking difficult for her.
Yes, that is so unfortunate.
Yeah, I know.
wanted to make
To craft.
a satchel. That would have been great.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you gotta feed yourself for
I need
sure.
to feed myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to feed myself 1 meal using 1 berry.
Okay.
So that's going to gain me an energy that counts as 1 meal
Yep.
this turn. And now I'm going to go ahead and place a token
check mark.
here to show that I completed that.
Yeah. So you're not going to take an
HP.
an HP penalty for being hungry.
Yes. And now that I'm going to move again, I'm going to hold these
Yeah, you
two
might as well.
in my inventory.
Yep.
And I'm going to spend all 3 of my remaining energy
Okay.
to move twice and sneak on that second movement. So again, sneak is an additional action that I can add to any of my movement
Okay.
in order to move into a town, announce the fact that I moved into a town, but
Okay.
Naveen draws 2 tokens from the manhunt bag. And if either of those tokens is a silent citizen, then they don't give away my location.
So you're moving 2 and sneaking.
Yes.
So you're spending all 3 of your energy.
Spent all 3.
So move 2.
So I only moved 2 technically,
So
but
now
I spent
you
3.
can hitchhike technically.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out as the government people. How could she get into another town? Okay, let's see. You can backtrack in this game, by the way,
You can.
as the fugitive. So that makes things tough. So if she was here and she went 1, she did then 2, 3. I think she might be in this town. I'm thinking she's in this town because from here she goes 1, 1, 2. She's not next to that town. She can't get to this town, and she legally cannot be in this town right here because my pawn is there. So I'm suspicious that she went some way this way. Now she's not going to tell me that, of course, but that is kind of what I'm thinking. Unless she just kind of ping-ponged back and forth here.
Well, you
and
do
is kind of
draw a
messing with me.
token from the bag. 2 tokens, actually.
Yes, because you snuck in there. We draw 2 tokens,
Yes.
and if any one of them is black, so she wants to see 1 black, 1 red,
I
because
do,
that'll cancel
yeah.
out and throw away one of my.
I want
yeah.
the loyal.
All right.
I want the loyal
I got 2 in
citizens
hand.
out of the towns.
Oh,
Aha!
so that's worst case scenario for me, right? Because I'm
Beauteous.
losing one of my loyalists.
Yes.
But
But they don't give
but
away
she's
where
safe.
I am. Very nice.
All right.
And now that I'm there at the start of my turn again, I'm going to go back up to 5. Now, the thing that's nice about
town.
being in a town, besides the fact that I can urban search, is I also have the good deed action for 2 energy. While I'm in a town, I add a silent citizen token to the manhunt bag. So I can
Okay.
further stack that bag in my favor. And Naveen has a version of that as well.
Yeah.
So All right.
Okay.
I have marked. Did you move this up for me?
I did, yeah.
Okay, and I have marked my everything on my paper, so that is it for my turn. So I'm
Okay.
going to go ahead and reset this back to 0.
0. Okay,
That
good.
goes to you.
So it's me, my second action. So I have 2 pawns in play.
Yes.
We're going to have now 2 action points. The way I see it, this agent recalled is actually not terrible for me right now.
Okay.
Because when this slides down, the last known position of your character is the crash site. That's
Right.
the only place that I know where you are
Okay.
officially. So when this slides down, it says send the government agent closest to the fugitive's last known location back to Kansk, which is here. So I can get a free move over here if I just leave them there.
Really?
I really don't know where Monique is. She could have doubled back right now. And so I need to have access or the ability to kind of cast a wider net. And the only way I can do that is by getting that aerial device on there. So I am going to take, unfortunately, this checkpoint action with both of my energy that I
Ooh.
have. And so this one reads,
Very
essentially,
expensive.
it is expensive. Checkpoints. During their next turn, meaning you, the fugitive may not enter or leave towns or cross the border. Now, this is a nice card if you're close to China and you're about to cross the border. This kind of holds you back. But there was no way this card was going to stay here all the way to the rest of the game. I need to get things moving. So you have to stay in the town that you're in. And then if you are already in a town, draw a manhunt token immediately.
If
So
I am already in a
yes,
town
and
right
you are
now?
already in a town, right?
I am in a town.
Yeah. So I get to
okay.
draw a manhunt token immediately. So there's only 3 manhunt tokens left in here. I think 5 for black.
There's. Haha!
Okay, I got it out. It's gone. That's it. Okay.
So I don't reveal.
Don't reveal. So that was both of
movement
my
track is
action points. That's going to stay right there. Now, a couple things are going to happen. This is going to slide down.
Yes, at the end of your turn.
That's the end of my turn.
Okay.
This is going to come off now. So this will come off. And then remember, this one says that the KGB agent of your last known location.
Closest to it.
Goes to Kansk. This was your only known location, was the
Right.
crash site. So we are going to move to Kansk like that. That is this penalty. That is out. This is going to now slide down. These will slide down, slotting this recruit into a cheaper spot.
Very nice.
Because it was at the 3, which was horrible. And then now we get 2 new cards. We have, oh no.
What is that?
Another one. This one is, okay. This one says, when this slides off, if there are more than 2 government agents on the board, remove one of them.
Oh, nice.
So if I went and got this recruit in before this came off, then I
Yeah.
would have 3. I would have wasted an entire turn getting it. So now I have to find a way to cycle this one out before I
Amazing.
recruit.
So and also it's going to push down these cards.
It'll push
so
down
you're
these
gonna wanna
cards.
Purchase them.
I'm going to want to use them. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then that's done. And then now we have another one. Oh, propaganda. Propaganda is a way I can add more loyalist communist tokens into that bag.
Yes.
That's the
yeah.
basic way that I
That's
get
the
to do
basic
it.
way, right?
Yeah. All right, that's me.
All right. So I'm in a town. I'm actually stuck in said town because of what you did
Yes.
there.
Oh, sorry. This is in the temporarily active
Yes,
pool right
because
now.
of checkpoints. I am very afraid I cannot leave the town.
You do start
So
with 5.
I do start with 5. I do not draw an encounter, and I cannot move this turn.
You have to stay there.
Which means I'm going to do some good deeds. So good deed, 2 energy while in a town. Add 1 silent citizen token to the
Okay,
manhunt
so,
bag.
so you're doing nice things.
Also, we really need to not forget this, but
yeah.
I think this
Yep,
is now
that's
here,
there, yep,
right?
yep.
So I do need to eat at some point during this
Okay.
quarter.
So you're doing good deeds, which cost 2.
Yes,
In order
costs-
to put 1 silent citizen in the bag.
2 energy, I'm putting a silent citizen in the bag because we heard that there are not as many.
Not as many.
I'm also going to urban search, and I might do this a couple of times, but let me do it one at a time. So there's 1 energy.
Yeah, having you
2
trapped right now to get supplies kind of stinks. But
Kind of great.
I know.
Matches.
Matches.
I can use matches along with materials that I find in order to light a fire. And the thing that's nice about me being trapped in this town right now is I don't have to put any of it in my inventory
Yet,
until
yeah.
I move again. So let's do it again. I'm going to spend another energy and urban search.
Another matches.
No, this is bad.
That's a lot of matches.
That means I'm going to have to leave one of these behind.
Nice.
So
That's good.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat one of my berries.
Eating does not cost energy. It actually
No.
gains you the energy.
Yes, and it does count as 1 meal though, because I'm only
Yep.
eating that.
But you have met your criteria
Yes.
in this quarter of the summer.
So I gain an energy, and I will not suffer the HP loss
Okay.
for that. I think with my last 2 energy. I'm going to just spend them both down to do another good deed.
Good deeds.
You trapped me there. You asked for this.
I didn't want to, but I needed aerial search to
This
be
is what
cheaper.
you get. This is what you get.
I needed aerial search to be cheaper, and I didn't want to use the helicopter to go move somebody just for them to go back to Kansk, you know?
I mean, the thing that's a bit unfortunate for me is we are nearing winter and I'm stuck in this town. It's going to be a lot more difficult for me to move around during the winter.
Yes.
So
And
we'll
you
see.
do not have winter clothes,
Right. I have not been able to move very far.
but you can light a fire.
I can light a fire. Well, I can't yet. I need some materials.
Oh,
so
like-
there's a lot of things that need to happen, but at least we survived another turn. So now it is back
So
to you.
you're done. Okay, so I'm going to start with 2.
Uh-huh.
1, 2. I wanted to recruit, but now I don't think I can or should. Okay, I am going to do one of these. Another government assistance.
Okay.
I'm going to do this one.
Okay.
Helicopter transport. So move a KGB officer. Oh, so this temporarily active is done.
Okay.
It's all done. So now you can leave the town.
Thank you.
This one says move a KGB officer to any location on the map, and this does not count towards the KGB's move limit. Remember, you can only move the KGB agent once
Right.
per turn. So this one, I am going to move.
So how much does that cost?
It costs 1. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to move this KGB agent,
Yeah.
and I'm going to move them to this town over here.
Okay.
So with my last action, with my last energy,
Uh-huh.
this newly dropped in here, helicopter dropped in, I'm going to do a move and search. So I can move 0 to 2 spaces with this KGB agent. It's going to cost me 1 energy. So that's my last energy. And I am not going to move anywhere with them,
Okay.
but I am going to search in place. Is there any evidence of a fugitive in this town over here?
You found
All
me.
right, perfect. Perfect.
So soon.
She's been found.
So
She
because
goes
my
there.
location has been revealed,
There you are.
I go down to 0. So you don't draw from the bag there because
No.
he performed a search.
No.
I have to say.
Correct. I
And
have. Oh,
if
good.
that was in any of the last 4 locations that I went to, then I can say you've spotted my trail or something. But if it is where I currently am, then I have to say that.
Yeah, if I nailed it, she has to tell me I am exactly there.
Yes.
Okay, so we have other tokens off to the side of the board. I have little footprints here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there, indicating that there is evidence of her there. I know for a fact she is there, so
Yes.
that's it. We also have on the other side of the footprints are question marks. So if you're kind of like trying to figure out where you think she may be, I could start dropping these off just to kind of help me out.
Okay.
But that's good. So my thought process was right. So there we are. Too bad I have no more actions to attack you or anything.
So you
but
end your turn?
I end my turn. So because this red card is here, it's going to shift these down. And then now we're going to put a new card out. And we have deploy the Red Army. Okay, that could be something nice.
All right.
Well, there we go. And we have the last days of summer for you.
All right. So this is my last turn before going into winter. Naveed knows where I am.
I do.
And now I have to be tricky. So fortunately, I start my turn with 5 energy
Yeah.
again, and I go back down to 0 meals.
Yeah, you could bushwhack out of there.
All right, well, I think it's time to move.
Mm.
So I have to put these in my inventory or get rid of them.
Did
So
you want
I'm
to urban search first before you move? This is your last time to
No.
urban search? Okay.
I don't think so. I don't have any space in my inventory anyway. So these matches I can use up to 4 times, and they
Okay.
only take up 1 space, so I think we're good here.
Okay.
All right, this unfortunately needs to get discarded.
Because she's going to be moving out, so
I'm
you left it
moving.
behind. Yep.
All right, I'm going to move 3 spaces. So 3 move actions.
3 moves.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So that means from here, she might have gone 1, 2, 3. She could have gone 1, 2, 3, or 3. She could have went this way. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, there's a lot of different locations she could be.
And the KGB officer can only move up to 2 spaces. So that's why
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. I do have the
wanted to move.
helicopter, but I haven't. I mean, you've gone basically this way, that way.
What a waste of a helicopter.
Yeah, it's well. The thing about using the helicopter, it slots the recruit into a cheaper slot.
Then, now that I'm in the wilderness, I'm going to spend 1 energy to do a search.
Yeah.
A wilderness search.
Good luck.
So, thank you. Hopefully,
1,
I can find something
2,
great.
3. Dry
Okay.
grass. That sounds like you can light fire to dry grass.
Ooh, yes. Okay. So I have two units of dried grass here. It says during the summer you find a bunch of dried grass.
Nice.
Perfect for
Good thing
starting
you
a
found
camp.
it now, not in the
campfire.
winter.
Yeah, that's true. Because if it was during winter, then all of these would be
It
nothing.
would be useless. Yeah.
So with dry grass, I can I can start a fire. I can craft a fire. So for a fire, I just need to use matches and either one of these things, one of which is just 1 unit of dry grass. So with my last energy, I think I'm just going to stay put and I'm going to craft. So again, crafting always just costs 1 energy.
Yep.
And I'm going to craft a fire. So again, fire, matches. So I'm going to go ahead and
So you have
move this
4
down to
matches, which now
3.
goes down to 3.
As well as 1 of the dry grass
Yes.
units. So I'll discard this.
Again, this is all at your campsite, and because you're staying put, you
Right.
technically have access to this beyond your inventory.
Right. As soon as I move, this all gets discarded, including my campfire, because it's
Right.
very thematic
Yep.
in that way. And fire, of course, cannot be carried, so I can never move it to my inventory.
Yep.
Unfortunately, making fire is noisy. Who would have known? Clearly, we've never started a fire before.
Noisy, or maybe they see a glowing
They
light.
see a glowing light,
Yeah,
that's
more
right.
so than the noisy.
It's
Yeah.
more so than the noisy.
The crackle. Yeah.
Some loud
Yeah.
pop. Okay, so I do have to roll a detection check.
All right, so I'm looking for you to roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
You're looking for any other number than that.
Odds are in my favor.
Yep.
So please
1.
be in my favor.
1.
Oh my gosh.
You have been detected.
I'm rolling bad.
Okay, well, that's not terrible. So essentially what happens is we are going to pull from this. And
Yeah.
will there be a silent observer of your fire or a
Yes.
party loyalist? It will be a
Please,
party
no.
loyalist. Excellent.
All right. Well, that is 1 fewer of these.
One
people.
fewer of those. Where are you,
Mean
Monique?
people
I need
in
to know
your bag.
where are you? So she has to reveal where she is.
I do. I am at location 39.
I knew it.
Did you say
1, 2.
38?
I said 39. No, I said 39.
I did not know.
1, 2, 3.
Okay,
39.
so I'm back down to 0.
So she moved 3 times from this town, right? And this is the furthest from triangulation. So I suspected you were here,
right.
which is kind of no.
That is so what the government would say.
It's kind of a bummer because I lost a loyalist,
Uh-huh.
and then I have the aerial search, which I was just going to drop right on.
Yeah,
because I'm
I
going to
mean, you
lose.
know where I am.
I'm going to lose the aerial search at the end of this turn because this is going to force it to slide down. So that's kind of a bummer. I didn't get to use it the way I wanted to, and I lost a loyalist.
Grand.
I know.
It's great for me though right now because you can't get to me.
I cannot physically get to you.
Cannot physically get
No.
to me. And because I created a fire, at the start of my turn, as long as I have a fire, I gain an additional energy. So that's going to be very important because as I move around, in order to move during winter, it costs 2 energy instead of just 1.
Right.
In addition, I automatically get to ignore the winter HP penalty that quarter while
Okay.
I have a fire. So in the winter, to be clear, I have to fulfill 2 requirements per
Yes.
quarter. I have to eat a meal and
Stay warm.
Stay warm
Yeah.
somehow, whether it's with winter clothes or a fire or I guess with vodka.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is it. That is the end of my turn. I've just made sure that I have everything written down.
Yep.
So now it's back to you.
Yeah, so I would love to deploy these armies, these red armies, but in order to do that, it is going to cost 3 energy to deploy. I only start ever with 2 energy, so these will eventually come into play.
Okay.
I do want to get more recruits out there. The problem is, so I start with 2.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow start for the government.
It is a slow start.
As the game progresses, the government becomes more powerful.
Exactly, because you get more action points.
Right.
The fact that this is out there, and if I was to go and recruit and I would just lose that recruit is really hurting me right now.
Yeah.
So I need this card to go away.
Yeah.
So that I can start recruiting this one over here.
Got an aerial search, I guess.
No, well, no. If I aerial search, it's a waste, right?
Yeah.
So this will slide down and just kick off aerial search.
Yeah.
The reason why aerial search is a waste is because I know exactly where you are. By the way, if I didn't know where you are, we have a little device here
Yes.
that basically represents a sector that you would just kind of place this out. So let's say I put the aerial search here and I did an aerial search.
Yeah.
I would say, Monique, are you in any one of these numbers here?
Yes.
If she was, she would have to tell me,
have to
and then I
reveal.
would put the footprints there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so-
is if Naveen were to resolve aerial
Correct.
search.
There's no sense in doing that because I know exactly where you are.
Okay.
So I will do another government assistance. I'm going to do the helicopter transport.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 of my energy. I'll pay for it this time first. Move a KGB officer to any location on the map. Does not count towards the KGB move limit. So I'm just going to pick this person up, and then I'm going to put myself here.
Okay.
There we go.
So you're forcing me to move in a different direction.
I'm forcing you to move. Yeah, I'm basically forcing you to move this way or this way.
Okay.
Because you cannot go this way, or you can bushwhack if you have enough energy.
Right.
But I don't think you do have enough energy.
Thank
so I'm
you.
going to do that right there.
Okay.
Okay, so that was my first action point. And then the next one is I'm going to drive this KGB agent, and we're going to drive to the next town. Just like that. That cost me both. I am done.
All right.
All right, so these will slide down naturally.
Uh-huh.
This one will force this aerial search gone. I really wish I could have aerial searched.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Technically, you were ratted out. Okay, so there we go. And then
Okay.
now we have another propaganda, which is great for later. Another aerial search. Okay.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
It heard
There
your
you go.
call.
It heard. Okay, that's me. And then this is now we are in winter.
Yes. Welcome to the most difficult time of year for
Yeah.
the fugitive.
Siberia.
Because everything is quite expensive, except for moving across the water, because now the water is solid. So it's actually less energy cost for me to do that.
Yep.
Now, because I'm in the wilderness, I gain 1 energy. And because I have a fire, I also gain an additional energy.
Very good. And now you do not have to roll for this particular fire because it's already been rolled for previously.
You only roll the detection whenever you craft the
Craft
fire.
it. Yep.
Oh, and actually I misspoke. The fire does not, oh no,
Uh-oh.
the fire does not allow me to ignore the winter HP penalty unless I light it during the winter. I lit this
you lit it
in
early.
the summer.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm starting my turn in the wilderness, I must draw
An encounter.
an encounter
All right,
card.
let's see it.
Please
What do you
be
got?
good.
Farmer.
Oh, a farmer.
You met a winter farmer,
A
hey?
winter
Okay.
farmer. So some cards in the encounter deck are going to be people. Some of them are a little bit more friendly, I suppose, to the fugitives' cause, and some of them are more loyal to the government.
Yep.
The farmer here
Neutral.
is neutral, so their behavior is at the top here, and that basically determines whether or not they'll attack you and whether or not they will give away where you are.
Kind of like how they behave.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this farmer says they are neutral and questionable.
Okay.
Now, because they are neutral, this means I could decide to just discard the card,
Mm.
or I can choose to attack them. So attacking people is always an option, unfortunately, for the farmer. However, if I choose to escape, they are questionable, which means the government player will get to draw from the manhunt bag, and it's a toss-up of whether or not I will be revealed.
Yep.
Even though
We know who you are.
Yeah.
So you might as well.
the third option, instead of attacking or ignoring the card, is I can just resolve what the card says here, which says I can just gain 2 energy, and that counts as a meal.
Yeah, because the text says, what does it say? He's saying to you, you look exhausted, comrade. Come inside for some borscht.
Yeah, so this is a friendly farmer. Why
Sounds
would I
like
attack him?
Yeah.
The reason why I would attack him is because if I defeat the farmer, then my reward here is I gain 2 cans of food and a motorcycle. And in this game, cans of food give you 2 energy each.
Okay, so he's going to give you 2 if you just accept his borscht meal, or you can kill him for
And gain
4
for
total.
4 and a
'Cause-
motorcycle.
and a motorcycle.
And a motorcycle can take me far. But I only have 1 weapon,
Yeah.
which I would have to use. And if I defeat him, I would add 2 loyal communists to the manhunt bag.
You
so
would.
all signs are pointing to no.
Take it.
Also because I'm not going to shoot somebody who's offering me food.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the nice thing to do,
Yeah.
even if you're trying to survive. So I'm just going to go ahead and resolve the farmer's card.
The prompt.
And the prompt, which allows me to just gain 2 energy.
Okay.
It counts as a meal.
It counts as a meal, and you are on the hook for this meal here, so
Yes.
that was taken care of.
Thank you, kind farmer. What a great encounter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh
Sometimes
my
they can be bad,
gosh.
though.
Sometimes they can be awful.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be bears.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I mean, he gave you enough energy to bushwhack.
Yeah, he did. So, before I move, I am going to drink this vodka
Okay.
because I need to make some space in my inventory.
Something happens.
So again, this says no winter HP penalty this quarter. If consumed with raw meat, ignore parasites, but it's not a meal. But the next time I search, any kind of search, I have to roll the detection check. So I'm just going to put this here. And this basically just gives me some freedom from that
Some warmth. yeah.
penalty. I'm also going to eat a meal. So that is 1 meal, 1 energy. And
I'm pretty sure. I think you already got fed the meal with the encounter.
oh,
Yeah, it said the card said this counts as a meal.
counts as a meal.
Yeah, so you're good on that.
I know, but I just needed to make space.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I say then that I would have eaten the berries with this encounter?
Okay.
So that's still just one meal technically.
yep.
Because if I want to eat again later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make some space so that I can carry the dry grass so I can make a fire again later, as well as the medicinal herbs. Okay, I'm moving. I'm actually going to bushwhack.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, bushwhacking costs 4 energy, and that energy cost does not change in the winter. I have to discard the fire because I'm leaving my campsite.
So let me just pick up my pawn here. So my pawn's on 38. So
Okay.
bushwhack, basically, Monique, we all know this technically, right? That she's here at 39. So bushwhack means you just follow the entire arc, and Monique can just basically end up in any one of those
Circle,
spots.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you look at whatever circle my space is adjacent to, which in this case there are two different ones.
Circles, yeah.
So there's this circle over here, and then there's this circle over here.
Correct.
And I can pick any location along
Except for 38, which is
Right.
where I am technically right
along
here.
either of those circles to move to for 4 energy. It counts as 1 hidden movement.
Yep.
But now there's a bit more secrecy because it's a lot harder for him to figure out where.
Yeah.
All right. Do I just want to end here?
So you're not saying you're in a town. That's something to know.
I'm not
So I
in
know
a
she's
town.
not here,
I'm not in a town.
but she's in any of those other numbers. Okay.
I could be in any of these numbers.
You good.
So-
yeah.
All right, I'm just going to end my turn here because I have no idea what Naveen's going to do on his turn. And I feel like it's a little risky because if I search, like I could choose to do a wilderness search, but I would
Yep.
have to roll a detection check. And Naveen has been able to find out where I am, so that's a bit too risky.
I have, yeah.
All right, it is back to you.
Okay. I mean, I doubt you would go back here, right? That's so much grind to have to go. You're still gonna. I'm thinking she's gonna want to continue on. She knows the highways are basically cut off by this. Bushwhacking from here to here. I mean, you could technically go there, right? But why would you spend 4 when it could have been just 2?
Well, if you think
or
about
1?
it, 4 is 2 movements 'cause
In the
it's
winter. Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
you have
right.
to
It is in winter.
Consider the math.
The math on
there.
that, yeah. Well, I know I'm start with 2.
Okay.
So 1, 2. Okay, I'm gonna get a little loose with it. So
Little loose?
we are gonna move and search.
I got loose too.
So yeah, you did with the vodka there, huh? I'm gonna go 1, 2 to 58.
Okay.
Is there any evidence of your presence in 58?
Evidence of my presence.
Yeah. Did you bushwhack to
So-
58?
No evidence.
No evidence.
of
Okay.
presence.
It was a long
valiant
shot.
effort.
It was a long shot.
Did that cost you anything to do that?
Ah, yes. Sorry.
Aha.
Let me keeping the government honest. All right, I think I'm going to move this KGB agent then.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and we're going to go 1, 2 to this 35 slot.
Okay.
And then there's no need to search here because it's not within the bushwhack ring.
Right.
So let's just not, let's not search.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the end of your turn.
Yes.
So now these things happen.
Okay, so this is going to slide down. So,
Okay.
all right. If there are more than 2 government agents, they're not, on the board, remove one of them. So that
Okay.
means they would have to go back. So this is gone. Thank you for being gone.
Nice.
This is now going to slide this down, and now I can justify getting that one out. All right. And then, another recruit.
Oh,
Very
this is
good.
bad.
So now we're going to start the train.
This is bad.
Okay. And now it is second part of winter.
All right. Well, I'm starting my turn in the wilderness, so I'm gaining an energy. I don't gain that extra one because I no longer have the fire with me.
What's your encounter?
I do have an encounter. That's right. It is a fisherwoman,
Oh.
a neutral, silent fisherwoman.
Strong silent type, okay.
Strong silent type. The prompt here says hold on.
Oh, yeah. What are they saying to you?
They're saying my fish aren't for sale, but if you help me, I will share my catch with you.
Okay.
Spend 1 energy to gain 2 raw meat and add 1 silent citizen to the manhunt bag. But fisherwoman, I only have 2 energy. That's a lot.
And you don't have too much space.
The thing that's nice though is, this is gonna sound horrible.
Oh.
If I defeat the fisherwoman,
Okay.
I
Tell us
gain
about it.
4 raw meat, 2 sinew, and an animal hide. And
Which
I
is-
desperately need to make
A satchel or
I need to
something
make
like that.
something.
Do what you must.
Oh my gosh, do I fight her?
Fight, you say?
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
oh my goodness. Okay, I don't want to do this.
Just do it.
But I think I'm gonna attack the
is the
fisherwoman. So
game.
she has 3 health.
Okay.
Oh, this is so awful.
She has 3 health.
She has 3
She has
health.
3 health, but she has 4 shield.
She does have 4 shield.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So you would need to. So your gun gives you inherently 3. So you'd need to roll a 4 or higher.
You know what? No. I'm going to take the fisherwoman's deal. Oh, I feel so bad for even considering
moral
shooting her
dilemma.
with my pistol. Oh my
All right,
gosh.
yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm going to spend an energy.
Okay.
And I'm going to gain 2 raw meat
2 raw meat at your campsite.
at my campsite. Boom. Parasite risk.
Okay.
And I add 1 silent citizen to the manhunt bag.
Oh, great.
There you go. Very nice.
A loyalist.
I just gave her some
for
energy,
you.
and she gave me her silence.
You're a
so.
loyalist. Okay.
All right. So I don't have that much energy at all.
You can light a fire so you can cook this meat.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I'm gonna have to do the whole detection check.
You'll be
thing.
warm, though, going into this one if you do that, right?
Well, no, I think I have to do it in the next quarter.
Because this one's been taken care of by that vodka, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna move because I do want to do this at some point.
You're gonna hang out?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just gonna spend my last energy, and ooh, hold on, it's too risky to do a wilderness search. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm
No wilderness
gonna just
search.
Try to tough out the winter.
Okay.
Because if I do a wilderness search,
Yeah.
I have to roll for detection.
Oh, I get you.
And
yeah.
you don't know where I am.
I don't.
So let's avoid risk at the moment and see what the government's gonna do.
All right. Well, the government is going to start by getting 2 energy.
Okay.
Okay. Still have the 2 people. The
Yes.
first one I'm going to spend, I'm recruiting.
Okay.
So this one, place a KGB officer pawn from your reserve on any town. So I have to spend 1 energy to do this.
Okay.
This KGB agent cannot be used this turn.
Right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and place them out. I'll place them here.
Okay,
I'm going to
so
lay
any
them
town.
down. On any town.
Okay.
I'm going to lay them out here.
Okay.
So now going forward, I'm going to have 3 action points going
Right.
into everything. So that's kind of really, really nice.
Yeah, that's bad for me.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
Okay, the last one, I'm going to do another government assistance. I'm going to do deploy the Red Army because
Okay.
normally, so this is the first time we're going to put one of these army out there. Normally, when you deploy the Red Army, it's going to cost you 3 to put out your very first one into a location. After that, you can split your Red Army. So let's say this was already out like this. If I was to take the Red Army action again, it would only cost 1 energy from that point forward, and then I can put another one out in an adjacent location, splitting from that particular army.
Yes. So it's not moving forward. It's 1 energy.
Correct.
It's 1 energy if you want to place it
Place it.
adjacent to one that's already on the board.
Exactly. So I could place it something like that for the other energy. But remember, you can only put out 1 army token per turn. So that is something to keep in mind. So I will go ahead and use this because this is going to basically give me a discount of 2 energy. So I'm spending the last one.
Yep.
I'm deploying the Red Army. Deploy or maneuver the Red Army to any allowed location on the board. Remember, an allowed location is anywhere where the fugitive is not. So if I
Right.
happen to guess right,
Yeah.
and she says I cannot place it there, then
Yes.
I know where the fugitive is.
Right.
I'm going to say, did you go south or did you go north? I was here at the time when you made that decision. You are 69. Monique, is that legal? Can I legally place there?
You cannot place it
I cannot
there,
place
Naveen.
there. Yes.
Oh, you're
So that
too
means
hot on my
does this go
heels.
back down to 0?
It goes back down to 0.
0. Okay, so this cannot be placed here.
Correct.
So, wow, I'm going to sandwich you in. So you're going to have to bushwhack your way out of there. So I'm going to place the army now in a
Okay.
location that's adjacent. I'm going to place it in that city.
Okay.
And now I have you kind of pinned in right there.
Gosh, out of all of the places that you could have chosen, how did you choose the exact spot?
I thought, I don't
It's
know.
ridiculous.
So I have this guy here cutting off the top, and I figured I might as well triangulate and try to cut off the south
Oh my gosh.
with the army.
You're an
So
aggressive government. Well,
Yeah.
that is 1 out of 5 that you're wasting
wasting.
because that cannot be moved.
No.
Now, one thing that we didn't mention is these red spaces that are adjacent to China are a demilitarized zone.
Correct.
So red army tokens cannot be deployed there.
Red Army tokens can't, but the agents can be.
Yes, they can. They can move into those spaces.
So that was both of my points or my energies. So these are going to slide down just like that. We are going to get some new cards. We have,
Something bad.
ooh, this one right here. This is winter only. This can be used. So this one says from a current turn, government agents may move up to 4 spaces for 1 each. So
It's a
that's pretty good.
snowmobile.
It's snowmobile. So it can only be used in the winter. And then we also have another propaganda. So lots of propaganda.
That's the propaganda.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to move. So
Yep.
we are now in the last quarter
Of the year.
winter.
Yeah.
And by the way, when this moves back into summer, that ends the first year, and we add 2 new silent citizens.
The
to
black,
bag.
the black ones that help you.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they start growing resentful of the fact that it's taking so long.
Society doesn't like this kind of presence in
Yeah.
their quiet towns, you know?
Right.
So since I put you down to 0 here, we need to remember that you're at 69 over there.
Yes.
And I should probably stand this guy up so I don't forget.
And it is back to me in the wilderness. We know where I am, so I'm going to gain 1 energy.
Okay.
And then I must draw an encounter.
What do you got?
So, logging camp.
Okay.
The camp looks recently abandoned. Garbage litters the ground and the cabin is unlocked. Perhaps you can find something useful here. So,
Okay.
I must roll a die.
So 1 to 3, you find nothing. 4 through 6, you draw a card from the urban deck.
Please.
Good luck.
5.
Very nice. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So I will get to draw a card, a much needed
Urban
card.
deck. So
From the urban deck. Okay.
What do you
A
got?
canvas bag.
no.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've been looking for these. So this is gear. You know, there are 3 different types of these and they increase the number of inventory
capacity,
slots.
yeah.
You can only hold 1 at any given time. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this. It adds +2 inventory slots.
Oh no.
Yay. So now I have these 2.
That's important for you right there.
spaces.
Yeah,
That's huge. I
yeah.
can place my parasite
Yeah, your parasite.
ridden meat
Yeah.
in there.
'Kay.
Okay. So, I'm trapped.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically have to bushwhack my way out of there, but I only have 2 energy, which means I must
Eat some parasitic food.
start a fire. I must
Okay.
do it. So I'm going to spend 1 energy to craft.
Okay, so you're spending one of your matches.
Yes, I'm spending 1 of my matches.
3 to 2.
And I'm spending the dry grass. So
Very good.
that's out, and I'm crafting the fire.
Fire.
Detection check. I mean, you know where I am technically.
I do, yeah. But yeah, we still have to pull from the bag though. But you have to roll. So if you roll a 1 or 2,
6.
6. Okay.
Okay. So now I automatically cook any amount of meat
Yeah,
that I have. So it's
that's
going to be
great.
+2 energy each. And because I lit this in winter, I get to ignore the winter HP penalty
So
for
check
this
mark.
turn. So I did not need to have winter clothes.
Yeah, you didn't need
which is
winter clothes, which is
pretty nice.
Yeah. And if you eat right now, then you're in really good shape.
Yeah, I think I will, but first, maybe I should do a search, a wilderness search action now because you already know where
I already
am.
know where you are, so
So
who cares
this
if I find
vodka-
out about you?
Yeah, the vodka is not gonna hurt. So
That's
All right.
very thematic there. You're like stumbling around making a bunch of noise,
yeah,
searching. Okay.
as I do.
So you
All
you
right,
get to
I
draw
spent
3
1
cards.
energy, and I get to draw 3.
Mushrooms,
1, 2.
small sticks, and a large stick.
Ooh, how so much variety here.
Okay.
Okay, I have to roll
So yeah, you roll here. So 1, 2, or 3. 2.
2.
So we still pull from the bag because
Yeah.
if I pull out one, it's either the math is either going to get better for me or for you.
Yep.
So here we go. We pulled out a black. That's good.
Oh
That's
my
great.
gosh, that's awful.
Excellent.
Okay.
So,
well, vodka's
The
done.
vodka and stumbling around didn't give away your position,
Yeah.
but I already know your position at this
Yes,
point. So
it is true.
yeah.
All that stumbling around.
Yeah.
All right. So I found a few things. Oh, the mushrooms, unfortunately, are nothing because I found them during winter.
You found nothing.
This would have been great. The thing that's funny about mushrooms is you have to roll a die when you eat them. And because you never know, you never
know
know
what you
with
pick.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
So could be partially bad. Anyway, I'm going to discard this.
It's out.
And I also found a small stick and large stick.
You
so
have enough
now-
space to hold them once
Yeah.
you eat.
So now I'm going to eat these. I'm going to eat both.
Both
So I can have 4 energy total.
in order to bushwhack.
That
Look at
fulfills
you.
my eating requirement
Look
for
at
the
you.
quarter.
Cleaned up this entire year.
I've cleaned up, and that is one meal.
Yep.
So now I can hold these because I must leave.
And I think you
must
can
leave.
light those small sticks right on fire in the future.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or I can use them for crafting 4 arrows.
Okay.
If I want to make a bow and arrow. The large stick is useful as well, but unfortunately, if I want to hold it, it's a size 2.
Okay.
So it takes up 2 spaces in my inventory.
So you
I have to do
you
that.
designate it like that. So
Yes. So I put a check mark here to show that this space is being used, which means I am full. My inventory is all full.
that's good though.
All right, it is time to bushwhack.
Bushwhack
So
costs 4 energy,
I'm
which is
leaving.
exactly what you have.
I'm leaving, so I had to
So
discard
you
my
can
fire.
you have a lot of options here. You can go back this way, or you can go somewhere anywhere in here.
And I'm going
I
to
have a feeling I know where you're
move
going.
1 space. You think you know where I'm going?
Yes.
Where am I going?
You're not going there, so I think
don't
you're
know
going
that.
somewhere here, most
You
likely.
have no idea. I've decided.
You
my
marked where you are.
location.
Okay, you're somewhere here.
I'm somewhere there. I'm still in the wilderness.
You are.
And that is it. I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this down.
Okay,
Now it
so
is
now
your
I have
turn.
3 going into this turn, which is great. Okay,
Yes.
3 is good. So you from here, I mean, right? somewhere here. Well, I'm going to recruit.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend these 2 energy. 1, 2. We are going to get ourselves another recruit.
Oh my gosh.
And this is going to go onto a town.
Yes.
I'm going to choose... Oh, gosh. I'm going to choose this town over here. So
Okay.
I'm trying to really create like a wall as much as possible. Okay. And then for my last energy... You know what? For my last energy, we are going to get propaganda. We are going to do one of these. So I'm going to do this propagandist right here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go down. Add 1 loyal communist token to the bag.
What is the distribution now?
You want to know?
Yeah.
Should we know?
You don't want to.
I think we should not know.
Okay.
I think we should just keep it a mystery.
Element of surprise.
Yeah. Okay, so that is me. So this is going to be going there.
Okay.
We're going to slide these down.
This is the last part of winter.
Last part of winter,
And
yep.
then moving will be so much easier.
Yeah, the reason why I chose that was because at the end of this year, you're going to get 2 more
Oh yeah, it's silent citizens.
ones
That's
to you.
true.
And the propaganda.
Oh my
There's a lot of
gosh, where are
propaganda.
your red
Oh,
cards?
there it is.
Aha.
Oh, I have to use the aerial then because I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now it is back to me for my last winter turn. I'm in the wilderness, so it's just 1 energy and an encounter. Who is it gonna be?
What is it?
Empty wilderness.
Oh, there you go.
Dark rain clouds brood beyond the hills. Unfortunately, that's the direction in which you're traveling. Not for the first time. You wish you had a raincoat. So nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
basically.
Okay. Yep.
Now, since I can't move, I am just gonna spend my 1 energy
Okay.
on doing a wilderness search. I guess I could spend 2 energy
you
and
could
just go
spend
down
2.
an HP
Yeah.
to actually move somewhere. Because then it'll be a lot harder for you to figure out where I am.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend 2
So you're
energy.
exhausting
so this is the first
yourself.
time I'm doing this.
Yep.
I'm exhausting myself, basically bringing me down to -1 energy here. But I must lose 1 HP immediately, which I felt pretty confident
6 to
about
5. That's not
because
bad.
I have medicinal herbs,
Oh.
which will bring me back up 1. And with the 2 energy that I just spent, I'm going to take 1 move action. Boom. And again, because it's during the winter time.
It is. Yeah.
So let me
Okay.
just see. I sometimes forget where I am. So, all right, it has been decided. So that's the end of my turn.
End of your turn, huh?
Now it goes back to you.
Last time in winter. Here we go. So because I don't know where you are, this aerial search seems to be a good thing. So I have 4 action points now. This is good. Okay, so I know I'm going to lose this aerial search, which is using this thing. If I don't use it now, because this card will kick it off, I got to use this now and make an informed decision. So I'm going to spend 1 action point or 1
Okay.
energy. And then now, okay, I think you bushwhacked into here is what I'm
Okay.
thinking. I don't think you would have went back because that's so much more of a grind. I think you're trying to slip out this way. So you probably went here and you moved once. So you probably moved either here, here, or if you were there, you moved there. So I'm gonna aerial search in this region just like that. Are you within this area, Monique?
And I must tell you exactly where I am.
if you are.
so,
Yeah.
I am
All right. What number are you on?
145.
145. So
I think you always knew that.
So you went here
Yeah.
in your bushwhack and then you slipped down there.
Yes.
Okay, so now we know 145.
still worth it because there was no other way for me to get out of that spot.
Yeah. And just
So-
because I know you're there,
Yeah.
it takes them, remember, 1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2 every time. So it's not like I can just get to you.
Right.
But knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. It does
there is
keep
that.
me from winning this way.
Right.
You know, if you're very skilled at surviving the wilderness, then you can kind of just move along the wilderness and get to the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I should probably have
Yeah.
put this into the discard pile. There we go.
Okay.
So knowing that you're down here, I think I want this KGB agent to move a little bit. So I'm going to spend 1
Okay.
to go 1, 2. They're now at the town, so now I can start driving them down if I need to cut you off. I'll spend 1 action point to add another loyalist to the bag.
Okay.
So can I have a red token to place in here, please?
There you go. That's
Thank you.
bad.
We need more
Very, very
on my
bad.
side. And then I have only 1 last, so I think we're just going to move this person somewhat closer. So I'm just going to go with the last action point. We're going to move them technically 1, 2, and then I'm not going to perform a search because we
You
already
know
know
where
where
I
you
am.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move these down
Very good.
just like that. All right. And we are going to be now in summer, and then let's go ahead and fill out these next 2. So if you want to add 2 black, the loyalist ones.
Two silent
Oh, silent.
citizens.
Oh, what do we have here? Agent recalled. Oh no. Send agent closest to the fugitive's last known location back to Kans.
Fantastic.
Which is
There's
all the way
too
out there.
Many. There were not enough red.
Oh, we have an aerial search though.
All right. So now that we've entered a new year, that's 1 year out of our maximum three that we'll be playing. Although the way that things are going, the government has been way more on my trail this game than in previous games. But we're going to go ahead and discard all of these because it is a new year. I'm going to have to do this again.
No coat for you, huh?
But it is summer.
It is summer.
So I can move around easier now. I am still in the wilderness. Unfortunately, because I exhausted myself, it only brings me to 0. So I don't have any energy, which is bad because it gives him time to catch up. I do still draw an encounter. A motorist.
Oh, what is this? What is
my favorite.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
I really shouldn't offer you a ride, she says, eyeing your dirty clothes. I hear there's a dangerous fugitive in the area. I know this card. I'm definitely just going to be following the prompt.
Okay.
Because it says she drives you to the nearest town. Ignore checkpoints and presence of agents.
You are doing it. So the nearest town is definitely 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
There's no other town in that area.
Let's go.
You're going there.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any energy.
Okay. So you have been driven to the nearest town.
I've been driven to the nearest town.
Okay.
So you basically know where I am.
Yeah.
Right. Now, technically, because I moved into a town via this card, I cannot move for the rest of my turn.
Yep.
And I don't adjust the hidden movement track.
Right.
If I were to have attacked the motorist, by the way, then, and obviously won the attack, then it would have added 2 loyal communists to the bag, and I would have gained a car, which would have allowed me. There are vehicles in this game. There's like snowmobiles, cars, motorcycles. No, because she's already bringing me. I don't have any energy. You have to use energy to use the car, and the car moves 4 spaces, and it's noisy, so it's fine. She helped me greatly, so I'm just gonna do that. Moving into town.
So we know you're here.
I'm in town.
Yeah, you're in town. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then that means we have to do the loyalist draw.
Yes.
Because you're in town.
I am in town.
All right. Hopefully I draw one of the black ones because I already know where you are. Okay, perfect.
What is going on? You must be cheating.
You added 2.
In the back.
You just added 2.
Okay, well, I don't have any energy, so this is a perfect
You could exhaust yourself technically. Oh, no, but you're not trying to move, are you?
Huh? No,
Yeah.
I can't move.
Yeah, that's what
So I could exhaust myself to do an urban search if I really wanted to.
Why would you?
But why do that,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just going to end my turn here.
Okay.
So now it goes to you.
All right, perfect. So I start with 4. So let's go ahead and get myself 4. I think it's time to get one of these Yakut trackers in.
Ooh.
All right, so in order to do that, we have upgrade agent. Upgrade a KGB to a Yakut tracker. Remove the KGB from play, so they're out.
Okay.
And place the Yakut in any of the 4 designated towns. You happen to be in a town
I do.
that is Yakut designated. Black.
Oh, that's
So,
pretty awful.
So since these people are all on highways and I can get them to move, this one's the hardest one to get over here. I'm going to replace this one. They're out of the game.
Okay.
And we have our first Yakut tracker here. So they are a little bit stronger. And then also when I move with them, they can move multiple times. So I can say move, search, multiple
they
times.
Can move multiple times per turn.
Exactly,
Whereas
yeah.
the red one's only once
One
per
time, yeah. So that is it. That is literally all 4. That is my turn.
Expensive.
Very expensive.
All right, so I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
So this is going to move here, and it's going to go back to me. I'm in a town, so now I'm full, and it's time to run.
Before you do that, we do have to slide some cards.
Oh,
in.
yes.
So,
oh, you're losing some.
I am, yeah. So this card is going to slide this one down,
Yes.
just like that. So that was one of those propagandas. That's unfortunately that's out.
And the reason why, again, is because the red cards always
push.
slide. They push
Yeah.
at the end of the turn.
So I was not going to be able to use this for a long time. This is that winter vehicle, so that's gone. That's
That
a
is
goner.
gone.
So this propaganda slides in. This one will go here. Now we're going to slide these down naturally, and we have new cards coming in. We have a search party, which we can talk about later. Oh, and we have a motorcycle for myself, which
Nice.
we can talk about later. Those are very expensive right now.
All right. So on my turn, no encounter because I'm in a town.
Right?
Time to run.
Okay.
So first, I'm going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 move actions. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Let me just mark down this because I'm now going to do a wilderness search. All right. So I'm going to spend another entry, to do a wilderness search.
Okay.
I really need some food.
Mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms. Hey, it's summer. A leafy branch, which is great.
An empty wilderness.
An empty wilderness.
Which is
so
nothing.
Find nothing
That's a
useful.
nothing card.
Okay,
Yep.
that's a nothing.
Okay.
All right, mushrooms during the summer. You find 3 mushrooms. If you decide to eat them, consume them immediately because there are no tokens for mushrooms. But I will roll a die. I do decide to eat them
Okay, because the meal.
because it's a meal. I need a meal.
Okay, what hurts you here? What hurts you? Let's find out. Go ahead. Just roll and we'll figure it
Oh
out.
gosh, please.
1.
One.
That sounds bad.
On 1 to 4, they restore 1 energy per unit. Oh, that's great.
That's great
That's
for you.
good. On 5, you lose 1 energy, and on 6, you lose an energy and 1 HP. No, this
Okay,
is good.
That's a good one. You want it to roll low.
Yeah. So it's per unit. So I'm going to gain 3.
3, yeah.
1, 2, 3. That's a meal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think that's a meal. You ate it.
I ate it.
Yeah.
And here you go.
There you go.
So no HP lost there.
Very good.
And now I have a leafy branch. So the leafy branch is great because for 1 energy during the summer, I can spend it to erase my tracks and I remove that location. So if Naveen were to go to my current location and search there, then I can say no.
You can say no evidence.
No
But it
evidence.
could be true.
Because I use my leafy branch,
Yep.
of course.
Yeah.
I don't have space right now, so I'm gonna use my medicinal herbs. Oh, it costs an energy to do that.
Oh, do it.
If you use an item that's in your inventory and there's an energy at the top, that's how much you have to spend to do it. Well, let's see. I have 4 energy. And honestly, there's really no point in using this now because even if I were to put this in my inventory, it's large.
It's a size 2.
It takes 2 spaces. So what I'm going to do is I am going to continue moving and I'm just going to ditch the large stick
Okay.
because I'm not using
Well,
it right
you
now.
need that if you're. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I'm not using it right now and it takes up too much space. So leafy branch it is.
Which takes up 2 spaces. There you go.
There you go. All right. Shall we go?
Okay, so you have what? Still 4
I have
movement?
4.
So you went 3 from here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, you could be. Yeah, you're probably here. Or here. Oh, dang.
You never know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move 2 more spaces because I don't want to spend down all of my energy if I'm still going to be in the wilderness.
Yep.
So 1, 2.
Okay.
And I'm moving twice. 1, 2.
All right, so what did
Okay.
you do? You did a 3 move plus a 2 move. 1, 2,
So
3.
5 moves total.
1,
You
2.
can always
I know, but
refer to
I'm
this.
thinking like because you did it in an interval, so it's what decision making you made at the moment. So, I mean, you wouldn't go 1, 2, 3 and mess with any of this. You need to press forward towards your end goal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2. Okay, yeah, you got some.
Covered some ground.
You did.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh gosh.
It is back to you,
All right,
government.
so I have 4 pieces out there. So we go up to 4. So this one, when this slides on, if there are more than 2 government agents on the board, remove one of them.
Oh,
I get to choose.
So
It'll probably be this
good.
person right here. But then that means instead of having 4 in my next turn,
So
I only have
good.
3. So yeah.
gotta love those red cards.
Yeah, those red cards hurt me. Yeah. Okay. I think you're here. I think you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally. So if I was to move the Yakut, I can go 1, 2 for 1 action. 2. All right. I'm gonna burn through a bunch of turns here. Let's
Okay.
see. Okay, so I'm gonna go 1, 2. I'm gonna search for evidence.
Okay.
Do you have any signs of evidence?
Oh, signs of
201?
evidence?
Because I could always change my plan.
That's true. What number?
201.
And because it's a Yakut, it's 6
Six spaces. Correct.
You find evidence.
I find
of a
some
trail.
evidence of a trail. Okay, I'll just move this one in.
Okay.
I find some evidence of a trail. Okay, I'm going to go and do it again.
Okay.
I'm going to go 1, 2. Do I find evidence of a trail at 198?
You find evidence.
I
of a
find
trail.
evidence of a trail. Okay. Now, so you went 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is here or 5 is here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say, I think you went south. I don't think you would go closer to KGB. You would probably hug this so that you can bushwhack across over here. So I'm going to go one more time. And I'm going to go just 1.
Okay.
Evidence of a fugitive, perhaps? Jack McKenzie?
I should have used that leafy branch. I don't know why I didn't use this.
You have been found?
I've been found.
You were found. Perfect.
I don't know what is up. You keep on guessing literally everything.
Well, I'm reading you through it, aren't I? So you've been found.
Am I just choosing all the obvious
You have
spots?
been found.
Maybe I am.
You go down.
Ugh.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're trying to escape. So now I have one last action point, and this is the first time we're gonna have some fisticuffs.
Oh, you're gonna
I
attack
am
me?
going to attack you. If an agent, me, my Yakut, is on the same location as the fugitive, you may attack the fugitive. Note, the player who initiates the attack always rolls first.
Oh no.
That's good.
I should have used my medicinal herbs.
So you have a total defense of 4.
I do. I have 4. So
4 shields,
the way
yep.
that attack or a combat works is whoever the attacker is must spend 1 energy. Did you do that?
I'm spending 1 energy now that we're talking
Yes,
about it.
only
and
the
doing it.
attacker spends the energy,
Yep.
and then Naveen gets to attack first.
Mm-hmm.
On our cards, so it's going to be a Yakut,
Yes.
right? There is an attack value that he gets to add to his dice roll,
Right.
and then he must subtract my defense value, which is 4.
Right.
And then the difference is how much damage I take. And then I get to hit him back with my
As long as you're
pistol.
still alive.
As long as I'm still alive.
Yeah.
As soon as one of us dies, then the combat is over.
Correct.
If I die, the game is going to end.
Because it was at the
Because-
hands of the government.
Hands of the
not
government,
because of
yes.
starvation or
Right.
an animal that you came about. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the math here is basically I roll a 6-sided die.
Yes.
I have a 3 attack, plus I add to the 6-sided die. You have a total of 4 shield plus 5 health. So if I roll a 6, my 6 plus 3, that's 9 to take out your 9, then that would end the game. Any other result other than a 6, then you're still in the game. Okay.
Yes. And
So
then
I
get
need to
attack
roll
back.
this symbol specifically.
Oh,
It's a 1 in 6
has
shot.
been so
but I
serendipitous.
needed to weaken you. It is a 5.
5.
Oh, okay. So it's 5 plus 3. That's 8. So 8 minus 4. So you have to take away 4 from your 5.
Why didn't I use
Down
this?
to 1. Well, you can
I didn't
now.
think you would find me.
Found you. That was everything.
All right. At this point, I only have 1 health left.
Yeah.
And I am forced to take a turn.
Yeah.
So my options are either I can try to escape or I can try to fight back. Now, the way that escaping works is I would have to roll a die, add my value here, which is just +1.
Okay.
And it has to be greater than 4 in
Yeah.
order for me to successfully escape. And at that point, the battle would end.
Right.
I would still stay in the same place. We would both be there, but we just would not be engaging in battle. Which means I have to roll, what, a 4, 5, or 6?
You have to roll 4, 5, or 6. Yep.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to just fight back and not give Naveen the opportunity to hit me again, I would have to roll higher than a 4.
So I have a shield plus 4. So if shield is 4 plus my health is 4. So you
to
have to
roll
roll
an
8 total.
So I have
your
to
gun
roll-
gives you 3.
Yeah.
So you have
it's
to roll 5
or
or 6. Yeah.
The odds are not. And if I could hit him for less, but it would be back to his turn, and he
And
would
then
still
redo
attack
it.
me again.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try to. I'm gonna try to escape.
You're going to try to
Just because
escape.
the odds
Okay.
are just a little bit better.
50-50
right?
chance.
50-50?
4, 5, or 6. you
Oh my
escape.
gosh! Here we go. 4, 5, or 6.
1. Nice.
1. Oh, that was 50-50.
Well, you don't escape.
Well, I don't escape, and
Nope.
that is all I get to do in my turn. Mm-hmm. So now it goes to you, Naveen. You get to attack me again.
Yeah,
I have 1
well,
health.
I think
So
I'm going
this
to go
is-
for it. I don't
this
think
might
I'm
be
going to
the
escape.
game-ending
Blow.
blow.
Yeah, this is going to be it. Okay.
Such confidence.
So 3. What's your shield? 4. So I need to roll a total of 5 value.
You do.
So I have 3. So I need to roll a 2 or
2
higher.
or higher.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. I like that.
won those odds.
2. Barely. So
That is
2
it. Because
plus my
2
3.
plus 3 is 5. Minus 4 is 1.
Leaving
which
you with
is
1.
the last HP that I had.
Nice,
I
nice,
should
nice.
have. Oh, I didn't have enough energy.
To time
use
it.
my medicinal herbs.
You probably didn't think I was going to like track you down and just hit.
I didn't think you were.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Like, you just always knew where I was. The game is over, by the way,
Yeah,
if it's
it's
not
over.
apparent,
Yeah.
because Naveen was able to find me
Jack
and
didn't
kill the
make it out.
fugitive,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Gosh. So it is a bit of a sandboxy game. Every time you play the game, it unfolds differently.
Oh, yeah.
This gameplay that we did, Naveen always knew where I was, and it's not always like that.
No.
In past games, if I'm able to get, a bit of a snaky lead early, then I'm able to do more creative movements.
Yeah. Last time we played, the most recent time we played, you actually used the waterways, which
Yeah.
we didn't talk about. So let's just pretend like you're the blue pawn.
The highways
Yeah.
are always difficult to hitchhike
are difficult.
because he does this kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So the way the water works, let's just say the fugitive is his blue pawn. If it's in a location like this during the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually swim across, going past these little kind of hashed
Crossings.
crossings, and it costs you 3 energy in order to do it.
Yeah, but in the wintertime, this freezes over, so it's only 2 energy. And the thing that's interesting is you can kind of do like this. It does that, so it's a lot harder for him to figure out where I am.
Yeah.
So in past games, I was able to move my way this way. This time I went south, which
did.
kind of made me do this path. But going this way makes the areas here, there's fewer towns, I feel. But you can do a lot more creative movements
Yeah.
and hide a bit more in the wilderness.
In the last game, I had a lot of my KGB agents kind of like lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
So like every time you go, it's like 1-2, but then she's kind of squirting out going that way. So it just makes it like a little bit kind of difficult, and you're really trying to like encircle and capture all at once.
Right.
Because in order to do the capture and not have to deal with this dice roll, you need 2 of your pawns to be there. So
Yes.
to really like triangulate and get in
Right.
and still have enough action or energy points,
Yeah.
it makes it very difficult.
And of course, it's also going to be very dependent on which cards come out, you know? So, like, we went through a few of the encounter
Yeah, I think
deck,
the
but
deer is like how you can make like the winter clothes, things like that.
You'll never know. You really never know what's going to pop up. There are bigger animals like the Siberian brown bear, which is, you can't just escape. You would have to try to run away by rolling a die. You can't just discard the card. But they give you a lot of crafting materials, and that was what I needed in order to craft more items. I was able to craft a few things.
Yep.
But as an example, the last game that we played, I was able to craft the bow drill. And the bow drill, you can just hold on to this and start a fire anytime. You don't
Yep.
need to worry about matches and sticks and all that. But you can start a fire. You would still need to do the detection check. And of course, it still takes an energy, but it's very useful in that way. You can also craft a bow and arrow, a tent, which makes it so that you get 1 extra
action,
energy at the
yeah.
start of your turn and you don't suffer the winter HP penalty. In the past, I've also crafted winter clothes. So instead of having to worry about vodka or starting a fire, then you just wear the winter clothes during the winter.
But in the off season, in the summer, it takes
Yeah.
up 2 spaces. So now
Right.
you're hanging on to it to get
Yes.
you to winter. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the snowshoes are nice because it makes moving 1 space during the winter only 1 energy, just like summer.
Just like summer,
instead
yeah.
of 2 energy, because of course winter is pretty tough.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of items here.
Yeah, the urban deck was what I really wanted to find some stuff, and I wasn't able to find some really powerful stuff earlier on. Like
Yeah.
you can find a motorcycle, which is great. The vehicles are great because it allows you to move, so many spaces. You can refuel them. You can never hold them though. So as soon as you leave them behind, you have to drop them.
Yeah, but you can find a can of fuel.
Yeah, to refuel
Yep,
them.
uh-huh.
They are noisy though, so you have to roll for them. I believe there's a snowmobile as well. There are skis, which let you move 2 spaces for 2 energy, which is nice, and different weapons.
Yeah, melee
So
weapons, yeah.
That's the knife. I
First
believe
aid
there's
kit was there.
There's a shotgun in here somewhere. The
is
rifle.
rifle,
There's a
yep.
rifle. There's another pistol. So there are a few other things in here that would have been very helpful had I been able to find them.
Yep.
But the thing is, when you urban search, it's only 1 card at a time.
Exactly, yeah.
Versus the wilderness search.
Yep.
Now, I was playing as Jack McKenzie, who is the pilot that crash landed, but you can optionally play as a different character. This person here, who is a reporter, and she actually starts the game with different starting items. So I started with a pistol. She starts with a knife and a film canister because she's a reporter from Kangst, and she was the first to discover the wreckage. So she's trying to bring the film canister and defect to America. So that is another option. The general.
Yeah,
the
so
government?
General Ivanov. Now this has changed. Again, this is a prototype copy of the game. So the special ability here is actually not the one that is on the printing, but this one says all Red Army actions cost 1 less. So if I was to deploy 1 instead of it being 3, it would be 2, or if I was to split from there, it would be 0. I'm assuming, but they've changed this, so this is
Yes.
no longer the action.
Right.
They,
But the point is, there are abilities that the
Correct.
generals have.
The other general, Zakharov, his special one is during the search action, agents may search all adjacent locations. So if I'm searching here, I can search all these adjacent locations to that. So
that's super nice.
Yeah, that can be very, very useful. And so those are the 2 that came with our prototype. I'm not sure if there's going to be more in the game.
And in the past, we've had moments where Naveen was very, very close to ending on a Red Army.
Yeah.
A red army win.
Yeah,
So these
so
are interesting.
if you can block them in, and
Yeah.
start, you have to have a lot of action points or
Right.
energy to do that because it costs 3 to deploy a new one. So
Yeah.
if I was to branch off from this, it costs 1. But if, let's say, Monique slipped out and was somewhere here,
Yeah.
if I need to put one out again, that's going to be another 3 of my energy. So it's kind of difficult.
But there you go. That is Siberian Manhunt. Now, like we were mentioning, there are a lot of other items that we were not able to showcase. There are additional bags that unlock more spaces in your inventory. So the drama sort of unfolds from game to game, really depending on when the cards come
Yeah,
out.
last time we played, you took parasites.
Yes, the
Yeah.
parasites. So this game,
Yeah.
I was able to cook the meat,
Yeah.
the raw meat. But if you eat them without cooking them, then these parasite cards get added to the deck. And if you draw a parasite card, it requires you to lose 2 energy that turn. And it also reduces your max energy to 4 instead of 5. So in order for you to get rid of parasites, you have to find the first aid kit and use it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this did not happen this
Yeah.
game because it severely limited me at the time.
The thing about those parasite cards are, though, if you eat 1 parasite infested food or 3 or 4, it doesn't matter. You still only put 1 in there. So you want to do it when you're going to get the most bang for your buck. But sometimes you absolutely need to eat, and you got to get stuck with those consequences.
But there you have it. That is Siberian Manhunt. Now, again, this game is currently on Kickstarter, and it is still in its prototype form. Things are still being adjusted, so just keep that in mind. But if you'd like to learn more about the game, we've included a link to the campaign in the description below.
Thank you all so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.